Hey everybody, HMV here. Playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we are launching... Oh, we've got science. Yay, science. We are launching the Moon Orbiter 1. And just so you know, I'm not cheating, or not telling you I'm cheating. We're using the gravity turn mod because I don't want to launch this thing into space. It's crazy. We've got Commander, check at Firepaw, running the show. She looks terrified. We've got Steven, who also looks kind of terrified. Patrick, who I don't think knows what's going on. And Sparky, who is, yeah, he looks terrified too. You guys all are going to get to land somewhere on the moon. We've got 4 targets. We've got 4 people. We've also got a contract, if I can bring it up here, that we need a new station that has an antenna, a docking port, and can generate power. This qualifies. It supports at least 5 Kerbals. It does. It's going to have 2,000 units of fuel when it gets to Moon. I hope so. We're going to be able to maintain stability for 10 seconds. Let's assume that's going to happen. You're going to notice that one of these engines is going to end, and then this one's going to end, and then the gravity turn mod's going to kick them off. I love this mod. It is so awesome. And they're going to explode together, which is also awesome. But we're launching from the poorly designed island here. What's it called? Ferret Island, which is a very large island. It actually almost looks like a peninsula because it looks like it's connected from there. But no big deal. We don't care. We're launching into space today. The ship is pretty easily designed once it gets up into space. Basically, this has enough fuel in it to count for the contract and also probably fuel up any mission we ever send to Moon from now on. This can land anywhere on the Moon and get back from it, except if it's doing a big polar plane change, which we're going to have to do. That's why I brought this fuel tank here that can be attached to the top of this guy and go down into space or into the Moon and give him extra fuel for that. These 4 ships are designed to, from orbit of Moon, get back to Kerbin and return their Kerbinauts safely. If you look in back here, you can see that there's a parachute right there. But other than that, the gravity turn mod is doing a terrible job of getting this thing into space, but it should have enough fuel to handle it. I remember what I forgot to do, actually, is I wanted to set this AP time finish to something higher. Because he's trying to maintain 40 seconds, which just isn't very good for this kind of a launch, because we want to make sure that we get out of space, because we got some finagling to do once we get into space. So what I'm going to do here is I think when this thing gets kicked off, I might take over and just throttle it up to the limit. Take it to the limit and get it going. But that's all the boring stuff, so I'm going to bid you adieu here, and I will meet you in orbit. Okay, I'm bringing you back slightly early. I just disconnected all the nose cones and this guy who was empty. We are climbing up. We're still technically in the atmosphere, but we're basically high enough that we don't really need to worry about it too much. And we need to flip Commander Checkat's ship around. So we are going to decouple this node here now. And then she is going to set that node as a target because we just decoupled from it. She's also going to shake this thing off. Shake it off. Shake it off. And then we're going to control from here. And she's going to turn around. Every now and then she gets a little bit terrified. Then we're going to activate this engine. We're going to aim at our target, which is apparently over there. And then we're going to let magnetism do the work and get her attached. Now I'm going to control from the command pod here. And then we got to get this guy aimed prograde before we get to our apoapsis to get a circular orbit. And all this debris, of course, will fall back to Kerbin's surface. It's almost as if I planned the mission this way, which actually I did. Oh, another thing we need to do, as soon as this comes up, notice it says it's a 3-minute burn, which is absolutely wrong. Why didn't Kerbal alarm clock tell me it's paused? The game is paused and I can't do anything about it. Okay, I could hit escape. There's something up with Kerbal alarm clock. I might need to save and exit and come back. I don't know. But anyway, let's go ahead and hit the spacebar. Let's go ahead and hit F5. Then let's go ahead and hit the spacebar. Now we got a 35-second burn because all 5 of these engines are going to get us all the way to Moon. We're using them anyway. We're bringing them anyway, I should say. Why not use them? Leaving our debris behind to fall back to the planet. I told Gravity Turret I wanted to be in a 100 by 100 orbit, but really 90 by 90 is fine. 90 by 90 is fine. And notice we have these two. I don't really have any plans for them. But if we come up later, we might want to dock more than one thing to this guy. So I figured, hey, you always need more docking ports than you bring. So I might as well bring 5 total. That way I guess I'll need 10. But okay, let's set Moon as our target. This is going to be a chore. What we're going to do here is, sadly, this is going to be in the dark. And I don't really want to do it in the dark. But I think... yeah, let's do it in the light. We're only going to burn for 3 minutes. This is a 6-minute burn already. So we're going to burn for 3 minutes at a time so that we don't get we get the most use out of Oberth possible. So let's go ahead and aim at that. We're going to go around. We're going to do this 3-minute burn. Then we're going to go around again and do another 3-minute burn because the total burn is actually about 8 minutes. So we're going to do 2 3-minute burns and then a 2-minute burn for the final one. That way the final one is spends less time burning. And we have, therefore, less, we have more accuracy, I guess, would be the way to say it. Note our ship completes every bit of that contract except it's not in orbit of Moon right now, which we'll fix. Yeah, I don't think these guys generate electric charge. Yeah, I don't see anything about electric charge on them. So we need the solar panels in the sun in order to burn these guys and rotate. And Kerbal Alarm Clock paused the game again. Definitely got to fix that. I think it was me. I was fiddling around with F2 for the launch. And when I was F2ing this window and Kerbal Alarm Clock, like, toggled between being on when everything else was off. It was kind of weird. And so I closed out of Kerbal Alarm Clock, and now it's like, I think if I hit F2, it'll actually show up. I suppose I could have tested that, but hey, that would be smart. Also, as we're burning here, just to show you, I had taken a contract that I thought this ship was going to achieve, which is rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit, because I thought that the act of undocking here and redocking would be a rendezvous. But, yeah, rendezvous doesn't mean docking, and docking doesn't mean rendezvous. I need to, I think, launch 2 different vessels into orbit and then get them within 2.5 kilometers of each other. I just completely misread the contract, and I feel kind of dumb for it, considering I made a tutorial where I specified that there was a major difference between rendezvous and docking. But oh well, we'll get that contract eventually. Okay, and as we're doing the final burn here, you will notice, if you can read it, that I have 170 odd meters per second left of delta V in this fuel tank right here, and I have 190 some odd meter per second burn. That means I have about 30 or 40 extra meters per second to burn in order to actually encounter Moon. That's fine. We're actually going to drag this for the extra 40 meters per second and then toss it so that it's guaranteed to have a Moon encounter at some point and either crash or be thrown out of orbit or into Kerbal orbit. Any of those is fine by me. It means I can delete the debris, which I've deleted all the other debris in the game. There's only one ship in this entire game, and you're looking at it right now. That's one of my things. I really like not having any debris, and I like doing it kind of legit. Look, there's the Allen Airfield. I like doing it a little legit, whereas you know, every piece of debris, if I actually controlled it, would eventually either get thrown out of sun orbit or crash into something. And as soon as they get to a point where that would happen eventually, I feel justified in deleting. And so far, so good on this save. You notice we're just missing Moon. Not a big deal. We'll make a couple orbits. The way this orbit is set up, I believe if we nail this thing perfectly, and then come around 2 more orbits, Moon will be back here. Because Moon's going to be here, then it's going to be about here, and then it's going to be about here. And going to go a little bit farther. There we go. Perfect. Now this guy should be completely empty. He is. Let's toss him. Goodbye. And that's why I burnt up a little bit farther, because I wanted to make sure that things happened. Okay, let's go ahead and go forward in orbit. There we go. There's our moon encounter. And let's see what our moon encounter actually looks like here. It's a collision, which is actually fine by me. But let's try to make it so that we don't collide. That means actually that probably that fuel tank is going to collide, which is kind of cool. We might follow it into the moon and watch it die. What if we burn forward just a little bit? Actually, we probably want this not out here. We want this back at our periapsis, or forward at our periapsis, on this orbit. Because that'll affect what happens at our apoapsis the most. So let's go, yeah, forward 6 meters per second. I think that's well spent 6 meters per second right there. And look at that. It's exactly the direction we're already aimed. Let's make sure, control from here. Make sure we're controlling from the right place. I've had some problems in the past. Oh, we've got the crazy this thing too. This ship, because she disconnected from here, this ship's root part is this docking port. So whenever I come back to the ship, this docking port is actually forward, which is backwards from the way all the engines are facing. It's just sadly something that happens in this game. Just for the fun of it, let's hop over to him. And now he can't actually do anything, but let's go ahead and place this maneuver node and see. He's actually going to crash into the moon too. So I think what we're going to do here is we are going to hit F5. Then we're going to go around 2 orbits, leaving our piece of debris to the whims of the gods. There's the moon. Not quite there yet. And all I really care about is our moon orbit. So that's all I'm going to watch. And it looks like we're coming in backwards, which means I probably, instead of going prograde, I probably want to go retrograde. So let's put a negative in front of this. There we go. That's better. Because, I mean, this is a permanent station. We might as well be going the right way. And let's not type a bunch of A's into the into the precise node there. Let's instead turn our ship around. The Apollo missions, of course, came in around the moon backwards so that they were on a free return trajectory. I think I've discussed that before. So I won't belabor the point. But they always wanted, in case there was an emergency, such as Apollo 13, they had a way back to Earth with the least amount of finagling possible. So this kind of mission that I'm doing right here is not actually what they would probably do. There we go. What is our moon periapsis? 40. A little bit higher than I like, but you know what? We'll keep it. It'll make it easier to dock back with the station when the time comes. Okay, now the debris should crash before we get to this maneuver node. 40 by 39. That's perfectly fine by me. So let's go to the debris, which requires going back to the Space Center. You are under acceleration. Oh, jeez. Let's get up to 100 kilometers. Might as well spend our time here that we can't time warp and get this guy aimed like that. I need to test that in the stock game and then report it as a bug. But that requires loading the stock game and then getting a ship into orbit, and that just doesn't sound fun to me. There we go. Now we can time warp, which means we can go back to the Space Center. While we're here, I figured I would check the things here. And we've got 2 more things to investigate. So let's go ahead and accept those contracts. We'll get to them eventually. We've also got testing a parachute, which we're bringing Mark 16 parachutes back from Moon. kind of slow for the altitude. I don't think we're going to be able to slow down to 160 meters per second by 2,000 meters. However, let's go ahead and accept it anyway just to see. We don't want to build a solar orbit station. And testing the stack separator on the suborbital trajectory of Moon, that's a good payout. But I don't think we're going to do it because we didn't bring stack separators with us on this ship. And the only thing that's ever going to be on a suborbital trajectory of the Moon is already up at Moon. So that lander can land anywhere. So I don't think we're going to take that contract. Let's go ahead and, now let's not actually decline it, but let's head out to our debris here. And watch this thing crash. Let's set up a maneuver node like here to make sure that we don't miss it. Yeah, see, we can actually do this, and we've got a yeah. So I don't know what this thing's saying. I'm a bit concerned about going through a sphere of influence change without controlling the ship, so we're gonna take this slow and drop a quick save. Just close the alarm on pause. It seems to have been taken care of. Let's go forward a bit and make sure everything's going okay. Looks like everybody's fine. Let's get out of map mode. Let's delete our maneuver node. And the piece of detritus has been successfully detached from the main ship, and its eventual collision into the surface is all but guaranteed. Here we are at regular time warp. There is actually an arch right over there. We can probably see it. Nope, I can't see it. But here we go. And explosions. Explosions are fun. Okay, let's get to our ship before he passes his maneuver node. Oh, it remembered the control from spot, even though it didn't remember which direction it was facing. Yep, our periapsis is still 40. Our maneuver node is still present. It is a 2-minute long burn right over this arch, which someone will be going down to. I don't know who's going to what yet. It'll probably be next episode, though. I think this episode will just be getting everybody there. We have officially completed every bit of the contract except for the stability for 10 seconds. If I was concerned at all about the amount of fuel we have, we need 2,000. We've got 2,800. We're obviously not going to burn through 800 units of liquid fuel doing 120 meter per second burn. So I'm not going to worry too much about this. I'm just going to let it burn down until we get a better orbit. But yeah, we're pretty official here. We have achieved this contract, and that's a lot of money. Okay, our periapsis has started to go down, and our apoapsis is at 41. I think 40 by 41 is perfect. Let's just sit here for 10 seconds and watch the cash roll in. There we go. Bam. Okay, I guess it's not that much money. It's better than a kick in the pants. But okay, next episode. We're going to land at an arch. Probably this one, because it's the closest to setting. So we're going to land at this arch, then we'll probably land at this arch, then we'll land at this arch, and at some point we'll have to do this, which might be interesting because we don't have any lights on the ship. So we might need to wait until that gets in the sun, and we might even need to take a look at it and decide whether or not we want to bring up a resupply ship with some lights on it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing it. I'm HMV, and I will, as always, talk at you later.